Hrishikeshaya Mahate. Namaste Nantamurtaye. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Perceiving your personal bliss, you are always transcendental to the waves of material nature. Therefore, my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. You are the supreme controller of the senses, and your expansions of form are unlimited. You are the greatest, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please repeat the translation. Perceive your personal bliss. You are always transcendental to the waves of material nature. Therefore, my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. You are the supreme controller of the senses, and your expansions of form are unlimited. You are the greatest, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. This verse analytically differentiates the living entity from the Supreme Lord. The form of the Lord and the form of the conditioned soul are different, because the Lord is always blissful, whereas the conditioned soul is always under the threefold miseries of the material world. The Lord, the Supreme Lord, is Satchidananda Vigraha. He derives Ananda, bliss, from His own self. The Lord's body is transcendental, spiritual, but because the conditioned soul has a material body, he has many bodily and mental troubles. The conditioned soul is always perturbed by attachment and detachment, whereas the Supreme Lord is always free from such dualities. The Lord is Supreme Master of all the senses, whereas the conditioned soul is controlled by the senses. The Lord is the greatest, whereas the living entity is the smallest. The living entity is conditioned by the waves of material nature, but the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all actions and reactions. The expansions of the Supreme Lord's body are innumerable. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. But the conditioned soul is limited to only one form. From history we learn that a conditioned soul, by mystic power, can sometimes expand into 8 forms, but the Lord's bodily expansions are unlimited. This means that the bodies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead have no beginning and no end, unlike the bodies of the living entities. Om Ajnana-Timirandasya Jnana-Anjana-Shalakaya Chakshur-Militam Yena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu-Padaya Krishna-Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami-Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So after Chitraketu realized that we are not these bodies, we are actually parts of the Supreme Lord, and we have to engage in devotion to the Supreme Lord, he surrendered to Narada Muni, and Narada Muni is giving him directions and is giving him mantra to be chanted to worship the Supreme Lord. And previously 2 verses we have told already. Om Namastubhyam Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Buddhaya Namah Sankarshanaya Cha Namo Vijnana Matraya Paramana Shakti Urmi Urmaye Namaha. So here the Lord is being glorified as Atmananda Anubhutya. The Lord perceives personal bliss because He is transcendental, He is spiritual, and Nyasta Shakti Urmaye Namaha. Because He is transcendental, He is beyond the waves of this material nature. So in Purport, Prabhupada explains that the Lord and the living entities are different. The Lord being unlimited, the Lord being the Supreme, He never comes under the waves of material nature. Material nature is one energy of the Lord, and it serves the Lord by covering the living entities who are averse to His service. Just like cloud, just like how the cloud has covered the sun. Sun, if you compare the sun to be the Supreme Lord, cloud is also produced by the sun rays itself. When the sun rays evaporates the water, it forms cloud. And what happens? What does the cloud do? The cloud covers the vision of the living beings below it from the sun. It covers the sun. But actually sun doesn't get covered. Those who fly in airplane, they can see. The plane flies above the clouds. They can see the sunshine actually. And they can see below that clouds, and below that living beings they cannot see because it's all covered. All the houses and shops and trees. Actually the sun is not covered. The living beings under that area, that portion of the cloud, their vision is covered, that's all. Those are beyond the clouds, they can see both the clouds and the sun and themselves. So, sun is so huge that clouds produced by the sun cannot cover the sun. In the same way, material energy, which is the energy of the Lord, it covers the vision of the living beings who think that they themselves are gods. They themselves are independent. So the Lord is transcendental to the waves of material nature. Those who think that they are God, they are tossed by the waves of material nature because they struggle hard to maintain their position as independent living beings. Their work. So therefore, my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Now this Atma Rama, this nature of the Lord is nicely exhibited by the Lord in His Leelas. After Lord Krishna, He completed His protection and establishment of Pandavas. After the battle of Kurukshetra, Pandavas won because Lord Krishna personally had gone there and He wanted the Pandavas to win. He wanted Yudhishthira to rule the world. So He did that and He returned to Dwaraka. And in Dwaraka, all the citizens were almost like dead bodies, waiting for the Lord to return. They're pure devotees of Krishna and they're simply absorbed in deep meditation. When the Lord will return, all the queens of Krishna, they're all just in their palaces and simply waiting when Krishna will return. Krishna keeps going away from Dwaraka, doesn't stay for a long time. So they're all waiting. So Krishna returned. So what happened? Upon reaching the border of his most prosperous metropolis, known as the country of Anarthas or Dwaraka, the Lord sounded his auspicious conch shell, heralding his arrival and apparently pacifying the dejection of the inhabitants. So from far away near the bird itself, the Lord blew the conch shell. He knew that my devotees are waiting for me. Hearing that sound vibration, the citizens of Dwaraka, having heard the sound which threatens fear personified in the material world, began to run towards him very fast, just to have a long desired audience with the Lord, who is the protector of all devotees. When they heard, they understood, yes, our Lord has come, they all started running. citizens of Dwaraka, is explained by Prabhupada, were thus in a state of melancholy due to the Lord's absence from the transcendental city. As much as we are put in a state of melancholy at night because of absence of sun. The sound heralded by Lord Krishna was something like heralding of sunrise in the morning. So all the citizens of Dwaraka awoke from a state of slumber because of the sunrise of Krishna, and they all hastened towards him just to have an audience. So when they ran towards the Lord just to have audience, what happened? The citizens arrived before the Lord with their respective presentations. Everyone, they did just one thing, empty-handed. They also took some presents and ran. They ran with their respective presentations, offering them to the fully satisfied and sufficient one. Here the Lord is described as Atma Ramam Purnam Kamam. The Lord is fully satisfied. He is Atma Rama himself. To him they have taken some presentations. Just like Rabe Devam Imadrita. Just as the presentations were like the offering of a lamp to the sun. Sun is the source of all heat and light in this world. Now if you want to worship the sun, you should offer a lamp to the sun. So in the same way, the Lord who is fully satisfied, who is Atma Rama, who is self-sufficient by his own potency, and he himself incessantly supplies to others. He is the source of all supplies. To the Lord, the citizens presented some gifts. So why this has to be done is explained here by Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord Krishna is described here as Atma Rama. He is self-sufficient and there is no need for him to seek happiness from anything beyond himself. He is self-sufficient because his very transcendental existence is total bliss. There is nothing extra required for him. He is self-sufficient because his very transcendental existence is total bliss. He is eternally existent, is all cognizant and all blissful. Therefore, any presentation, however valuable it may be, is not needed by him. But still, because he is the well-wisher for one and all, he accepts from everyone everything that is offered to him in pure devotional service. It is not that he is in want of such things, because the things are themselves generated from his energy. The comparison is made here that making offerings to the Lord is something like offering a lamb in worship of the sun god. Anything fiery and illuminating is but an emanation of the energy of the sun. And yet to worship the sun god, it is necessary to offer him a lamb. In the worship of the sun, there is some sort of demand made by the worshipper. But in the case of devotional service to the Lord, there is no question of demand from either side. It is all a sign of pure love and affection between the Lord and the devotee. The Supreme Lord, the Lord is Supreme Father of all living entities, and therefore those who are conscious of this vital relation with God can make filial demands from the Father, and the Father is pleased to supply the demands of such obedient sons without bargaining. The Lord is just like a desired tree, and from him everyone can have everything by the causeless mercy of the Lord. As the Supreme Father, the Lord, however, does not supply to a pure devotee what is considered to be a barrier to the discharge of devotional service. Those who are engaged in devotional service of the Lord can rise to the position of unalloyed devotional service by his transcendental attraction. So this is the nature of the Lord. He is like a desire tree. You can take anything from him, and the Lord is Supreme Father. He is pleased to supply whatever you require. But when he sees that By supplying something, your devotion to him gets obstructed, he doesn't supply. Ultimately, he wants us to love him, and he loves us so much that loving relation should increase more and more and more. So that is a kind of Father. So that's what is explained here. The Lord is Atmananda. Atmananda Bhutya. And then one more quality of the Lord is explained here. Rishikeshaya Mahate. The Lord is master of the senses. So Prabhupada explains, manufacture of the necessities of life in factories and workshops is excessively prominent in the age of Kali or in the age of machine is the summit stage of the quality of darkness. Such manufacturing enterprises by human society are in the mode of darkness because factually there is no necessity for the commodities manufactured. Human society primarily requires food for subsistence, shelter for sleeping, defense for protection, and commodities for satisfaction of the senses. These are the four necessities, basic necessities. What is that? Food for subsistence, shelter for sleeping, defense for protection, and commodities for satisfaction of the senses. The senses are the practical signs of life. Without senses, there is no life. The senses are practical signs of life, as will be explained. Human civilization is meant for purifying the senses, and the objects of sense satisfaction should be supplied as much as absolutely required, but not for aggravating artificial sensory needs. Because senses are there, senses are life symptoms. Now, they should be satisfied as much as absolutely needed and not for artificial sensory needs, not for aggravating. Food, shelter, defense, and sense gratification are all needs in material existence. Otherwise, in this pure, uncontaminated state of original life, the living entity has no such needs. The needs are therefore artificial, and in the pure state of life, there are no such needs. As such, increasing the artificial needs, as is the standard of modern material civilization, or advancing the economic development of human society, is a sort of engagement in darkness without knowledge. So, this whole society, material civilization, going on increasing the commodities, material commodities, it's keeping us in darkness because one has to work so hard. First of all, to produce, they recruit those employees, laborers. They give up their basic work of cultivating the fields and producing grains, and instead of protecting cows and producing grains, these people run to the cities to manufacture tubes and tires and rubber and boards and nuts and all these kind of things. And then after selling them, they again have to go to shop to buy rice and dal and other things. If they could have produced themselves here happily. See? So, this is the modern civilization. So here, Prabhupada is explaining, by such engagement, human energy is spoiled. Why these artificial demands have to be curbed? Because human energy, which is so vital, instead of utilizing it in self-realization, we are busy in producing some artificial needs which are not required actually. So, by such engagement, human energy is spoiled because human energy is primarily meant for purifying the senses in order to engage them in satisfying the senses of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is supremely pure, his senses are pure, he is Rishikesha, he is the master of the senses, and we also have to purify our senses and engage them in serving the master of the senses. So here Prabhupada explains, the Supreme Lord, being the supreme possessor of spiritual senses, is the master of the senses, Rishikesha. Rishika means the senses. and Isha means the master. The Lord is not the servant of the senses, or in other words, He is not directed by the dictations of the senses, but the conditioned souls or the individual living entities are servant of the senses. They are conducted by the direction or dictation of the senses, and therefore material civilization is a kind of engagement in sense gratification only. All material civilization is a kind of sense gratification. The standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification. And one can do this simply by becoming an agent or satisfying the spiritual senses of the Lord. The senses are never to be stopped in their engagements, but one should purify them by engaging them in pure service of sense gratification of the master of the senses. So activities of senses did not be stopped. It has to just diverted to please the senses of the Lord. Now to please the senses of the Lord, we have to know what pleases the Lord and what doesn't please the Lord. Isn't it? If you do not know, then how can you please the Lord? We will engage in satisfying our own mind, our own senses. Because mind generates varieties of ideas, which may not be in line with the pleasure of the Lord. Isn't it? The Lord is a person. He has certain likes and dislikes. And because I think I am separate from the Lord, I go on generating my own desires. It may not be liked by the Lord. Now, what the Lord likes, that's explained by the Lord Himself in the Bhagavad Gita. If you see the 12th chapter, what are all the qualities a yogi should have? It's told, Adveshta sarva bhutana maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samodukha sukakshami santushta sadatam yogi yatha anada nishchayaha maya arpita manobuddhi yomar bhakta sametriyaha. Adveshta sarva bhutana. Krishna says, if you love me, you should also not envy anyone else, because everyone else is my part only, isn't it? How you can be hating someone and still love Krishna? It's not possible. If you love Krishna, if you worship Krishna, you cannot be having enemies. If you are having some enemies, that means actually you don't know who is Krishna, because Krishna is complete with his energies, and all living beings are his marginal energy. Some people are indulging in sinful activities because of ignorance. Because of that, you cannot hate them. That is also one soul. But because he is in ignorance, he is indulging in some sinful activity. So a saintly person, a realized soul, shows compassion on him. How can I deliver him from that ignorance? So Krishna is telling, Adveshna sarva bhutana, not only human beings, all living beings have to be loved. They have to be protected. They have to be shown the right path. Not only human beings. Every living being has to be seen as part of the Lord. So these qualities one has to cultivate. Adveshta sarva bhutana maitra karuna evacha and nirmamaha. Aham mameti is sign of ignorance. Me and mine. This is my property. This is my car. This is my bike. This is my watch. That is ignorance. Nirmamaha means everything is Krishna's. He has given me for some time. So my duty is to engage in service of Krishna. Nirmamo. Nirahankara. Nirahankara means any identity other than belongingness to Krishna. I belong to Krishna. Jivera swarupaha Krishnera nityadas. That is real ahankara. Any other ahankara is false ego. So nirahankara, one has to be nirahankara. To get rid of all these false egos, first of all, one should have knowledge. If at all I am existing, who am I? So what is my identity? That should be clear. So Krishna himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is giving us our identity. He is telling, Jivera Swarupavai Krishnera Nityadas. Krishna himself is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vamsho ಪೈಲಟ್ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋರು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ. So he got that seed of being inside his mind. Then father's one pilot friend will come home. Oh, pilot means you should wear that dress and walk like this and talk like this. He got little more knowledge about what is the meaning of being pilot. And he now nourishes the desire of becoming pilot, and he writes the entrance exam. Actually, he doesn't know what all difficulties are there in that poor fellow. That desire was put into his mind by someone else. What you are, what you want to be. So by association, we take in the sense of being, what I am or what should I be. By false association, we all have adopted different senses of being. That's just for the sake of pleasure only, ultimately. Why you want to become a pilot? Because if I fly, it will be nice, so nice flying in the sky. That is their understanding. So ultimately, the sense of being is for pleasure. But these false senses of being, which is disconnected from Krishna, is always source of suffering. Just like a branch disconnected from the tree, it will never grow again, it will rot and die. So, if at all I want to be happy eternally, I should get my real sense of being. My real sense of being is I am eternally connected with Krishna as his loving servant. Now, for that we need ideal example, not just theory. How I should be, like even we are all living in the community of devotees. There are devotees having some good qualities and some not so good qualities. So we can appreciate this devotee is so regular in sadhana. I want to be like him. You can take that. When you appreciate those good qualities and you try, because there's an ideal example, an example moving around you. Like him I should be. Prabhu, 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 telling Prabhu, how you are so regulated. You can go and ask. You will tell, you see, you should do like this, you eat at this time, sleep at this time, read at this time, on timetable you will have. At least you can know some details, how he thinks while working Prabhu. If this service is there, what should I do, Prabhu? If this sadhana is pending and this service is there, what should I do? How will you manage this? You will tell sadhana is primary important. First complete your rounds. That is the secret of success. Then other things. So like that, he will give some secrets which he has got somehow. There may be some negative things that you don't worry. You don't have to worry about that. There may be someone who is very good in relations. With anyone he very nicely relates. How is it? So we can take that sense of being from him. How to be good, because a devotee should have all good qualities, isn't it? Like that. And if you see, when you read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are ideal examples of pure devotees. So when we read, there also I should be like Prahlad Maharaj, always remembering Krishna. So nice. Even adverse difficulties remembering Krishna. So why not I also try? So like that, ideal examples of what we should actually be are already here. So we should just appreciate them and again hanker to be like them. You see Prabhupada, how he was in old age, he crossed the ocean in spite of having all sorts of diseases. So our own spiritual master, so nice. So when we appreciate, we will get that qualities. In that way, the false being will go away and the real being will awaken and eternal servant of Krishna. So this is how we have to give up this ahankara, nirvamo nirahankara, sama dukkha sukha kshami. How devotees were equal in sukha and dukkha, that also we can see in these examples. So in this way, we should engage in serving Krishna by developing those qualities which pleases Krishna. Without knowing what pleases Krishna, Krishna is a person. So if we have to serve or please Krishna's senses, who is Rishikesha, I should first know what he likes and what he doesn't like. And then I should know how the devotees who are already liberated are engaged in serving him. And under their guidance, when I serve, then I can also conquer this mind and senses, which is trouble. use the same body which is troubling you to liberate you by adopting the sense of being from pure devotees, how they are dealing in different situations. So that is Rishikeshaya Mahate. Then one more quality is mentioned here about your expansions of forms are unlimited. Namaste Ananta Murtaye. The Lord is having unlimited expansions. So that's explained in Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma. Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Avayavanamcha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Nachami. Now why the Lord has unlimited forms? One of the reasons Prabhupada explains. Once Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was in Jagannath Puri before they all went back. They would come every year to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for Rath Yatra. They would stay there for some time, probably for 3-4 months. And then they would all go back to their villages, Navadvip and other places. So before they left, they all would come and have his darshan. And once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was appreciating the qualities of different devotees, just like a father and mother, how they glorify their children. No, my son has done this painting, so nice it is. He will show to every guest who comes. It will be some ordinary scribbling only, but still, for father and mother it is so nice. See, he got 3rd rank. See, look at this medal, in running race he got. So they want to glorify because they love their children. In the same way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the Supreme Father of all living beings, and especially his pure devotees, he loves them so much, he started glorifying them as though he had many mouths. So he was glorifying one devotee. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, previously I induced Murari Gupta again and again to be allured by Lord Krishna. I told him, I said to him, Murari Gupta, my dear Gupta, Lord Shri Krishna, Rajendra Kumara is supreme sweetness. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, Sarvamshi, Sarvashraya, Vishuddha Nirmala, Prema, Sarva Rasamaya. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the original of all incarnations and the source of everything. He is pure transcendental love itself and is the reservoir of all pleasures. Sarvada Samaya. Then Sakala Sadguna Vrinda Ratna Ratnakara and Vidagda Chatura Dhira Rasika Shekara. Krishna is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Sakala Sadguna Vrinda Ratna Ratnakara. And then he is like a mine of gems. Vidagda, then he is expert in everything. Chatura, very intelligent. And Dhira, very sober. And Rasika Shekara, he is the summit of all transcendental humors. Then he said, Madhura Charitra Krishnera Madhura Vilasana Chaturya Vaidadhya Kare Yara Vilarasa. His character is very sweet and his pastimes are melodious. He is expert in intelligence and thus he enjoys all his pastimes and mellows. Say Krishna Bhajatuni how Krishna Shraya Krishna Vina Anya Upasana Mane Nahi Gaya. I then requested Murari Gupta worship Krishna and take shelter of him. But for his service, nothing appeals to mind. So in this way, he heard from me again and again. By my influence, his mind was little converted. Murari Gupta was worshipping Lord Ramachandra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted him to give up worship of Ramachandra and worship Krishna. So he started explaining all the transcendental qualities of Krishna. So his mind little changed. Then Murari Gupta then replied, I am your servant and your order carrier. I have no independent existence. After this, Murari Gupta went home and spent the whole night thinking He prayed that death would come that night because it was not possible for him to give up the service of the lotus feet of Raghunatha. Thus Murari Gupta cried the entire night. There was no rest for his mind, therefore he could not sleep but stayed awake the entire night. In the morning, Murari Gupta came to see me. Catching hold of my feet and crying, he submitted an appeal. Murari Gupta said, I have sold my head under the lotus feet of Raghunatha. I cannot withdraw my head, for that would give me too much pain. It is not possible for me to give up the service of Raghunatha's lotus feet. At the same time, if I do not do so, I shall break your order. What can I do? In this way, Murari Gupta appealed to me saying, You are all merciful, so kindly grant me this mercy. Let me die before you, so that all my doubts will be finished. Because I am unable to carry out your order, at the same time unable to remove my head from the lotus feet of Lord Rama. Then I said to him, All glories to you, Murari Gupta. Your method of worship is very firmly fixed, so much so that even upon my request, your mind did not turn. The servitor must have love and affection for the lotus feet of the Lord exactly like this. Even if the Lord wants separation, a devotee cannot abandon the shelter of his lotus feet. So, just to test your firm faith in your Lord, I requested you again and again to change your worship from Lord Ramachandra to Krishna. In this way, I congratulated Murari Gupta saying, Indeed, you are the incarnation of Hanuman. Consequently, you are the eternal servant of Lord Ramachandra. Why should you give up the worship of Lord Ramachandra and his lotus feet? So I accept this Murari Gupta as my life and soul. When I hear of his humility, it perturbs my very life. So the same Lord Krishna, he is in unlimited forms just for the pleasure of his devotees. For Hanuman, even though Narayana, Krishna, Varaha, Narasimha, they are all same Lord himself, but Hanuman likes Ramachandra, the form of Ramachandra. So to please him, the Lord is in the form of Ramachandra. For the gopis, once Krishna was hiding in the bush, gopis were searching, where is Krishna? And then the gopis were searching. They saw from far distance, they found out Krishna is within the bush, somewhere hiding. So as they went nearby, Krishna showed his four-handed form. And they all bowed down to the Namo Narayana. Where is our Krishna? So gopis, even though Narayana and Krishna are same, for gopis, Narayana is worshipable object of without reverence. They consider him as Supreme Lord. But Krishna, they don't consider Krishna as Supreme Lord. For the gopis, Krishna is their most dearest lover. So they are searching for their most dearest lover because they are fully under Yoga Maya. They don't know Krishna is Supreme Lord. So they offered respect to Narayana and begged, My dear Lord, please show us where is Krishna. So gopis like Krishna's form. Hanuman likes Ramachandra's form. Bhishma likes four-handed form. Like that, there are innumerable devotees who serve the same Supreme Lord in innumerable forms. Therefore, Advaita Manchita Manadim Ananta Rupam. The Lord has unlimited forms and he pleases the devotees in a form which pleases his devotees. So these are some qualities which are mentioned here, and we have to worship and offer our respectful obeisances to the Lord by glorifying all these qualities. So I'll stop here. Mantra